At what point in your travels yesterday did you get a chance to watch the Aaron Rodgers Enigma trailer?
Yeah, all right. So I told you this was coming.
Yep.
And I told you that they had cameras following him.
Boomstradamus.
Thank you. I appreciate
bow
it.
to thee.
The reason for this was because I believe because of the Achilles and because of the speed bridge and all the money that's invested in that particular medical device and the way that it is. And it's one of the reasons why he probably came back to try to practice at the end of last year to show that you can come back from an Achilles earlier if you needed to come back from it. It was a whole, PR thing.
Yeah.
So and he probably got a nice big chunk of money for it, and good for him. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I hold that against him. I mean, that's what you should be doing. You should be taking every opportunity available to you and doing what you can with it. And the only unfortunate thing for Aaron Rodgers is that if the record had been switched from 3-9 to 9-3, it'd be a different story. You'd have a different feeling about it. You'd want to go watch it. You'd want to go see it. Now, I'm going to watch it. I want to see it because I know exactly what he went through, and I know how hard he rehabbed to try to get himself back to where he could actually play this year. And quite frankly, he's not been great. He's not been bad. The team has been, it's been an upheaval around him. He's part of the fault. Maybe he has sucked the life out of the building a little bit because too many people are deferring to him without even realizing that they are deferring to him.
Yeah.
So I wish that the record would have been better. This would be more interesting. But yet it's another aspect of Aaron's life that we're all going to get to see as we watch him on McAfee, as we watch him talking to the reporters and to everybody after games and post-game press conferences. And it's becoming a lot.
Yeah, it has been a lot for a while, and I think a lot of Jets fans are not going to be interested in watching this, especially if there's not a lot of wins the rest of the season. I think they're tired of him. They're ready to move on. They're sick of this. They want to see who their next general manager and head coach are. And, sometimes when you hear Jets fans like, only the Jets this could happen to, only the Jets. We try to fight back on that and be like, man, there's other teams, the Cleveland Browns, and, before the Lions the last couple of years, they had been terrible. There's lots of teams who never even made it to a Super Bowl, much less won a Super Bowl at some point. One of the great moments in NFL history and the way that the merger happened after the Jets beat the Colts and everything else. So at least they have that. They went to a couple championship games back-to-back with Rex. There's teams, even though they're in a huge drought, but there's teams that have had miserable histories. But I have to agree with the negative Jet fan of only something like this could happen to the Jets when I was watching that trailer. Like, you finally get the guy who's supposed to be the savior, Aaron Rodgers, pops his Achilles, comes back this year, looks like he's 100 years old, and now you got to watch a trailer with him with paint on his face, laying in a puddle somewhere in Central America, sipping ayahuasca, and doing all sorts of, crying with his shirt off with indigenous people. I mean, it's incredible. It's just incredible.
Hence the Enigma title.
Yeah, I mean.
And this all comes along with the, Ian O'Connor book and everything.
Yeah.
It's all tied in together and everything else. And look, I have nothing against it personally. I mean, it's, and like I said, I'm interested in seeing it. I'm not going to have such a disdain for it as you will, or some other people will. But, I mean, it's just part and parcel of what's happened here. And when you think about the wake of destruction that has happened to the Jets since he's arrived.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about the amount of people that have lost their jobs, gotten traded, gotten brought in here. I mean, it's just been one thing after the next, which is not what anybody expected, including yours truly. I didn't expect this. What I expected was him to come out and play good. I thought last year's team was a lot better, but then this year I thought, okay, he's going to come back. He's going to be really focused, and the guy's going to be used to having him around and practicing with him. And these games that they're losing at the end of the game where he has a chance to win the game with a drive, if he had done this like 4 out of the 5 times that he's had a chance to do that this year, and they had a chance to do this documentary would be unbelievable. He'd be celebrated. It'd be like, oh, he found his place. He found, he put all his time and effort into his body, his mind, and to be a better player and to be a better person and all, whatever. But unfortunately, those 5 opportunities that presented themselves have all been failures by the team, not just him, but by the team. And him, of course, because he's the leader. And now all of a sudden you put this documentary on top of it. It's probably going to fall flat on a lot of people, on a lot of Jet fans.
Well, of course.
Desk. But for me, I'm going to watch it because I'm going to be interested because I find him to be an interesting guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's content for us. I mean, there's going to be things in there that are going to be hilarious, and I'm going to want to see them, and I'm going to want to talk about them. So yeah, I'll watch it because of that. But if I did not have this job, I was just an NFL fan, I wouldn't put that on.
He should shut his trap.
I did see the trailer a number of times yesterday on social media, and it was interesting. I saw he's somewhere in some rainforest doing something.
Yeah,
I was thinking about my time growing up at Heckscher Park.
Yeah.
It brought me back to memories of me laying in a pond in Heckscher Park, coming out with all those leeches on me.
Yeah. Going clamming.
Yeah,
that
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we didn't have rainforests there on the South Shore of Long Island, but yeah, you could just
stepping on broken glass. In the Great South Bay. Yeah.
I mean, it was just I really couldn't stop laughing just thinking about all of this as you fast forward, and even the little clips about him with the Achilles, where the doctor's like, I can't believe you walked into this office. Most people would be laying in bed. I'm not most people. Then you fast forward 3 and 9. Rob Saleh fired. Joe Douglas fired. Well, yeah, you are most people when you put a Jet uniform on. You start to suck. That's what happens.
I have walked a mile in that man's shoes.
Well,
that's
yeah,
for sure. Yes.
Right. And I was surprised to hear Bill Belichick say that Aaron Rodgers still has football left in him. I mean, I know he's got a healthy respect for Aaron Rodgers. If he says something like, I think this guy is done, that's probably not going to go over well. I mean, maybe he was just being nice.
No, I'm just telling you, he does. I mean, he does have football left in him. The question is what level of football left in him is there?
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. There are times where he makes throws, and you're like, holy God. Very few players can, even at his age, can make those throws. But then, of course, he misses Garrett Wilson. Wide open for a touchdown on Sunday. And, those are the things that, unfortunately, I don't necessarily remember seeing happen very often in Green Bay, but have happened here. And then he's talking about the wind after the game.
Yeah, where nobody else disputed, or nobody else agreed with him, and it was much disputed that the wind had nothing to do with that terrible throw. Yeah, I mean, this experience has been...
I will say one thing, though.
What?
That Olu Fashanu had a hell of a game.
Well, that's good.
He went back and I think I'm trying to think who did the film breakdown of him. I don't think it was Brian Baldinger. I think I saw somebody else doing it, and he had a hell of a game at left tackle.
Good.
They may have found something with him, which would be unbelievable, which would be great.
Now, was that a Woody Johnson draft pick or a Joe Douglas draft pick? Do we know?
That's a Joe Douglas draft pick.
Right.
That's an offensive lineman. That's a Joe Douglas draft pick.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, it's just making sure. So yeah, I don't know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be here playing next year. I would be actually shocked at this point. But if Bill Belichick thinks he's got something left in him, maybe there are other head coaches that believe that as well. I just think he's too old, and he's going to get hit too much, and he's been dealing with a ton of injuries this year, and I don't think it changes much.
I'm just telling you, if and a year removed from the Achilles, assuming that he gets through the rest of the season, then who knows when he is going to end up stop playing here. I don't know if he'll make it through the rest of the season. I'm not sure. He'll probably enjoy playing in the warm weather in Miami this week. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
Probably feel 100% better, but I do believe he definitely has football left in him. There's no question about it. The question that I would have is how much money and at what level are you getting?
Yeah. What was interesting too about this I wanted to bring up to you, because he these things that he does, it seems like are so private, and they're his things, and he's going to do this ayahuasca, and he's going to go into this darkness retreat, and he's like just picture all of these things that were so sacred to him, and he would talk about in such a way, but he's had this massive camera crew with him with a boom mic while he's doing all of this. It just seems
disingenuous. Yeah, I got it. I understand.
It's like you're showing us this for what? For what reason? And you want to go and do whatever you want to do, go, fine. It's great, but it's the way he used to talk about how special these things were to him and getting away from it. Why are you showing the world all of this? That's just
because you can make a lot of money. That's why.
No. The part of, I guess, well, he made a lot of money on the speed bridge part of it, as we've talked about. But I mean, showing those.
You don't think Netflix is paying him for this?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's good for him, man. I'm all for it. I'm sure Shorehaven Wealth Partners are all for it too.
No, all for
Absolutely.
making
Right?
money, but yes, I mean, this is.
I mean, they could do an actual documentary on you two in there. That would be unbelievable. Just following you guys around, see what you do when you're not working here.
It'd be a very boring documentary.
No,
that's what
I
I
think
was
it would
gonna
be
say.
great. I think it would be. They could shoot it with one camera, be in one place. They wouldn't have to travel anywhere.
right.
Be a lot of me and Eddie with a dog or dogs.
Yep.
Exactly.
A lot of that. Yeah.
Hey, what would you title it? I got to think of a title for these two guys.
Not an enigma. Like we know exactly what's going on here. Yeah.
I think it would be great.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just.
Get Tom Izzo to do it.
Yeah.
What's he doing these days?
He's big, working here, doing his thing, pumping out videos of our show and others.
But that's what I'm saying. He could do you could do a behind the scenes, documentary of Alan Eddy.
There were a bunch of people throughout the years, like at Pittsburgh and then even at the network and here, like people have come up, digital people, be like, we want to have like the whole experience of like you getting up and driving in and want to put that. I'm like, no, I don't want you in my home.
I did that with Neil Best.
Yeah, but did he film all of it?
No, he just followed
This is
me
like
around.
they want to film. They want me like getting out of bed and like, hey, what's going
And by
on?
the way, his day started with me because he used to live about a mile from me, and I picked him up and drove him in.
Right, and then he followed me around. Went to a Monday night game with me. He came back. He said, "You're an insane human being." I said, "Yes, I know. I realize that."
Why don't you hang out with Neil Best? I feel like you and Neil Best would have a lot in common.
I've run into him a number of times, even recently, walking in the small towns or the boardwalk, and we chat.
Yeah. You
A
guys
nice
should
little
do-
chit chat. You guys have coffee?
No, we didn't have coffee, but we had a nice
You should.
chat.
You guys should do some Radio Man stuff together.
I think we're both kind of boring when it comes to small talk, and we kind of run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You
That happens
never
a lot.
run out of stuff to talk about.
But Neil doesn't say bad stuff about people. You know what I mean? Like he would not. I couldn't say. You ever listen to Bumblebee? He would have nice things to say.
He is a
Okay.
very nice man.
Yes.
Very, very nice.